So for those of you who have at least looked back at my other videos, I have this Cub Cadet back here. Doesn't cut very well. It does have some problems. The transmission is a hydrostatic. It has like 600 hours on the thing, and it's starting to seep. Like if a transmission is or a hydrostatic is worn out, is after it heats up, the top speed will slow down, and that's what this does. At first, it hauls butt, and then it just slows down and is boring. The engine does run, and I'm not sure about now, but it should still. It's a very nice engine, as you can see, 18.5, pressure lube, overhead valve, so this thing is very nice, and it's just sitting here. Now, for some reason, I did do a video of this stuff, but file was corrupted, so, and then that's why I haven't done a video in a while. So I'll show you the current state of the Murray. It's over here. Something's missing. Okay. So I took apart the front end and took the engine off to investigate why, in my last video, I showed how one wheel here was straight and the other one was here. So I investigated that, and I originally thought it was the rod right here, or the front axle, but it's perfectly straight. It was this mounting piece. You can still see it's still a little bit bent. It's somewhat hard to tell, but it is. I did put a coat of paint over it, so it looks better, a little bit better. I hammered this out. It has cracked. You can see right here. Did not crack on the other side, but this whole part was pushed in. You can see how this is crooked. So it's in better shape. I'm going to tack weld it here and there, maybe put a bar on it. Not sure where, because I can't cover up any of those holes on the front. None of them. So yeah. Now, if you're wondering why I took the engine off to do that, it's because I'm replacing the engine with this. Hold on, let me turn on the radio. I don't want to give you guys advertisements. This is the MTD's engine, the 18 horse. After taking it apart, only problem I had was this. Oh, excuse me. Also, these two bolts here froze and snapped. But we did re-drill them. This one is clockward, but it's the same one that was clockward on the other engine, so that hole already screwed up when I screwed up that hole to make it fit right. So that's already done. So I'll just screw that hole up a little more. Now, you may ask, what am I going to do with the MTD? Or the other engine? The other engine's either going to be parts, or it's going to be a project test engine. And I will show you over here. Here is the Murray's engine. I'm not going to transfer the pull start. I'm going to leave that on this one here. What I might do, I mean, this is just ideas I've thrown out, is try to see if I can do a dual carb setup on this thing. It'd be pretty cool to do, just to see if it'll run well and work. That's the Murray's battery there, protected. But what about I'm not going to use this engine on a mower or anything. Well, there's one more reason. I did not mean to do that, honestly. Hold on. Sorry about this. Alright, that's good. So, what am I going to do with the MTD? And why did I mention that engine? I'm thinking about building a racing tractor. Here is kind of my concept idea. I've been working on it a little bit, but here's the concept. These wheels here are old snapper wheels, front ends. They fit on here. I'm going to have to extend the thingamabobs, the spindles, weld some bolts on there, and then put a nut there. And then the old front tires go on the rear. And so it's a very low tractor. Less tipsy. Right now it is very tipsy because the front end is not solid, which is another thing I'm going to do. Hold on, let me move this wheel back on here. It's just a concept. These wheels, these front wheels will not be the wheels on here. So I'm going to purchase new ones when I get the money, and to that point in time. I'll do that later. So what I'm going to do is lower the seat. I'm not sure about the dashboard yet. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to change the steering setup a little bit, and I'm going to remount the transmission. Because the things with MTDs is they have two belts, if you know what I'm talking about. So, if you take a look, all the way back there, you can see the rear drive pulley for the tranny. I have to lower it about an inch or two, maybe 3, to line directly up with the engine pulley and work right. So I'm going to have to lift, I'm doing the wrong thing for a racing tractor, lift the transmission, well technically the transfer case, because it's just 2-speed forward and reverse, which I'll get to why I'm using this instead, or in a minute, and then it's going to lift up the rear end. I'm not sure about that because I don't want to go much smaller on the rear tires. So, I don't know. I can't sink the transmission in because of the rear pulley, and it's already too high. I'm going to have to redo all my shifting linkage and whatnot. What I want to do here is a direct setup where I just have a lever here, and this here hooks up to that. Actually, the idea I just had was welding this to here, pretty much. Take this out, the hole in here, and weld it there. That's an idea, actually. And then it just moves over. And I'd have to readjust it because it would move the steering a little bit, but it'll be fine. I might reinforce this tie rod later. Now, the reason why I'm using this 1-speed forward and reverse axle is because it has a very low end gear ratio. It turns very slow compared to most transmissions when you roll the body around. So what I'm going to do is put a relatively small, like maybe 3-4 inch pulley here, and then put like a 5-inch on front. And then I'm going to set up my clutch system to be very, I guess, unsensitive. Like, see how far this moves compared to the movement of the pedal? I'm going to reduce that. It's going to have a very small amount of movement, of total movement. So then, I'm going to control my speed by controlling the amount of slippage on the belt, between the belt and the pulleys. And that's pretty much how it's going to work. It's going to be like a 3-pulley system, very simple. I'm going to remount this, maybe. This is actually in a pretty good spot, I don't know. I'm actually going to redo some of these, the linkage. So right now I am stripping this down. I am trying to take off these rear fenders so I can get to the seat and chop these lower. But these are frozen on here. So that's why the Ryobi's over here, the angle grinder, so we can cut them off. And I can remount these. Probably not going to keep the springs in it, even though it's going to be nice. And nice, well, pretty much. So, this is not going to be here. It's just going to be a foot pedal. I might replace there with a hand brake, because the brakes do work very well on this transmission. So, and I don't want to push this all the way to slow down or coast, and then find, oh crap, there's brakes, and it's not actually. I actually need to adjust these brakes. Actually, no, I don't. I forgot the wheels I need to make keys for. Well, I'm going to put like a spot weld in the rim on both sides, and that's pretty much going to be my key. And then I'll get a pipe that's about this size, slide it on, cut it to the right length to keep it from going further in. And that's going to be the same on the other side. So that's the idea. I'm going to use, as I said before, this 18.5 overhead valve pressure lubricated engine. The only fun thing about this is this fuel solenoid, which I can easily hook up with a kill switch or with a toggle switch. Now what I'm going to do, hopefully, is put an oil pressure gauge. Because you see, this nut, or this plug right here, stock on these engines, it would be a either the plug or a sensor. Say, hey, your pressure's low, or your oil pressure's low. Now this does measure oil pressure. You can see right there. It has the little computer module over here. Although I'm not sure how. I imagine there is a hole. Hold on. It is measuring like something with the dipstick here. That's all I can think of at the moment, but that would make sense because that would be pressure completely in the whole crankcase, and that's not how it works. So, I don't know, but I'm going to get a gauge and work that. I'm going to reuse most of this wiring. I'm going to strip out all the wiring here and use this wiring. I'm going to mount, oh, I forgot about that stuff. Here, let me get back over here and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What else I'm going to do. So after the engine is installed, I'm going to find my mounting places for this, but I'm going to move the battery and the gas tank. Well, I'm going to move the gas tank anyway. But I'm going to move the battery forward to where the gas tank would be. Over here. This is the gas tank mount. It goes right here. I need to bend this forward right here so the battery can sit here. Or, this isn't in best of shape, but still probably going to use it. Mount this somehow. That's not going to work. I don't know, maybe mount it like that. Slice this off a little bit. That might take away some structural integrity. You can see that is because this is not put in. This adds a lot of strength to the dashboard. I'm going to leave the dashboard plastic for now. The gas tank, I'm going to get a smaller one, the 2-gallon, and it's going to go right here. This shifter's not going to be here. It's going to go right about here. I'm going to put a piece of square tube steel here, and then have 2 straps for it. And then run that forward with the fuel pump that's on that. That's about all the updates. I'll do some work, and if there's anything important I change my mind about, or I do, I'll add that to the end of this video. So, yeah. So here's the final view for this video update. As you can see, I had to cut off the footrests. The screws at the down there, right there, were frozen, so I had to cut it right off. After doing a little bit of slicing and adjusting, I got to fit pretty nicely and satisfactory on here. It's just sitting on here at the moment. Technically, 4 of the bolt holes line up. 2 of them don't because I had to cut it out of this because these are frozen as well. But anyway, what the idea is, if you can see right there is a lot of tube steel. Take a piece from here to here, not welding it on, just drilling holes into it, and 2 bolts on each side, and maybe a plate or the bucket seat, which I'm going to purchase. I'll show you that. I'm not going to use the original seat, excuse me, and I will replace it with a bucket seat, I believe that's what it's called. So, and do it on both sides, and either bolt the bucket seat to it, or get a plate or a sheet of metal and then bolt the bucket seat to that, depending on how it works and whatnot. I could even make a frame of tube steel throughout, a square frame, and fit it over that. My gas tank's going to be in here. I'm going to build a mount across and use straps. I might have enough room for the battery up here. Instead of mounting it here, then I can put all my electronics right there. Maybe. That's another thought. I'm not using that. I changed my mind on that. You can see it sitting right there under the seat. Up there. There's why. That's why the I'm replacing the seat. Although it's such a nice seat. So, actually no, that's the shifting. For the tranny, I also have to work that in. I forgot about that. Alright, hold on. One sec. Alright, thank you for watching. Subscribe, tell me what you think. Any suggestions on making it stronger? Any suggestions on performance parts for that overhead valve engine? It's a 32 cubic inch. 04. Don't know why you'd need to know that, but anyway. Any suggestions on the steering? I have an idea what I want to do, but I'm open to suggestions. And I'll see you guys later.